Good morning, guys. Let's do corrections for worksheet 4 quickly. We are given this triangle here, and we're given the hypotenuse and the opposite, but we don't have the angle, and we're not given the adjacent. You need to find a ratio that has both opposite and the hypotenuse. The only ratio that has both the opposite and the hypotenuse, note that 1.5 is simply a side that is opposite alpha, all right? So basically cos of alpha will simply be opposite all over hypotenuse, and opposite all over hypotenuse, the only ratio that combines the two will be sine. So I will simply write it as sine theta is equals to opposite all over hypotenuse. I do have the opposite and the hypotenuse. For me to solve for alpha, I'll simply find arc sine of 1,5 over 2,1, and that will give me 45,6 degrees. Okay, now here I'm simply finding alpha again, but I'm only given the adjacent and the opposite, and the only ratio that combines adjacent and opposite will be 10. So 10 of 2 alpha will be equal to 9,3 divided by 4,2. 10 is simply opposite all over adjacent, hence I have 4,2 divided by 9,3. Okay, actually it's supposed to be 9,3 divided by, as I've said earlier on, we are given 2 alpha, and we have the opposite side. A side opposite to 2 alpha will be 9,3, and a side adjacent to 2 alpha will be 4,2. So the only ratio that has opposite and adjacent is 10. So 10 of 2 alpha will be equal to 9,3 divided by 4,2. 10 of 2 alpha will be equal to 9,3 divided by 4,2. You simply find the inverse 10 of 9,3 divided by 4,2. It'll give you an angle, and your angle will simply be 65,70. Take that and divide it by 2 for you to solve for alpha. You will get 32,85. Here we're given alpha, and we're given the side opposite alpha, and that will be 2,9, and we have the hypotenuse. Opposite all over hypotenuse is sine, so sine of alpha will be equal to 2,9 divided by 3,5, and alpha will simply be 56 degrees. Here we have adjacent to alpha is 12,8, and hypotenuse will be 15. A side that combines adjacent and hypotenuse is cos, so cos of alpha will be 12,8 all over 15. The inverse cos of 12,8 over 15 will be 31,4. Here you needed to pay attention as to which triangle has more information that will enable you to use one of the ratios, okay? As I've said, here you have to look at, you have 2 triangles, but you realize that all the triangles don't have sufficient information. Firstly, these are the questions that have been asked. Calculate the sides of triangle ABD and triangle ABC. In triangle ABC, it's quite easy because I can just find the adjacent, which is CB, by using the theorem of Pythagoras. I do have the hypotenuse, which is 11. I do have opposite, which is 6. Now, what I'm going to start with here is simply to calculate angle B. I'm just going to focus on that triangle and calculate angle B. You'll realize that a side opposite to angle B will simply be 6, and a side hypotenuse will simply be 11. So opposite all over 11, it'll give you 6 over, opposite all over hypotenuse will give you 6 over 11, and in this case you find the inverse sine or arc sine of 6 over 11. It'll give you angle B, which is 33,1. Now once you have angle B, which is 33,1, you can now start calculating angle A, and angle A will simply be you simply add the 3. So now we're focusing on the red triangle. For me to calculate A, I'm just going to take B, angle B, well, add it with 90 and add it with alpha. It's supposed to give me 180, and that will be angles of a triangle, and then I'll just manipulate the formula for me to solve for alpha. I simply calculated the angles. I need you to work out on how to calculate the sides, okay? Please calculate sides for me. Here we have the adjacent as well as the hypotenuse, okay, and that is adjacent to this angle. Adjacent to that angle is 12 and hypotenuse will be 13, and the only ratio that has adjacent and hypotenuse will be cos. So I will simply say cos of alpha minus 20 degrees is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. Find the inverse cos of that 12 over 13. It will give me 22 or 22,6. Solve for 2 alpha by taking 20 degrees to the right hand side. It will be positive, so I'll have 22,6 degrees plus 20, and that will give me 42,6, and then you divide by 2, it'll give me 21,3. That's all you are supposed to have done here. For this one here, you are given one side, which is 7,3. Please note that in this topic here, we simply calculating the angles. I don't really care about the sides. I just care about the angles. But you were told that DC is the same as CB, so you are given DB, which is 7,93. All you had to do was just to divide that by 2 to get the length of each of those equal sides, and then that will enable you to calculate alpha. What you need to know is that in that triangle, I do have the adjacent and the hypotenuse, so I will simply say cos of alpha is equals to adjacent, which is 3,97, divided by hypotenuse, which is 5,61. In the red triangle, I also need to note that if the sides are equal, opposite angles will also be equal. So if this is alpha, that will also be alpha, and that is because these sides and that is because those angles are opposite equal sides. If angles are opposite equal sides, then those angles will also be equal, okay? Now for me to calculate alpha, I simply found the inverse cos of 3,97 divided by 5,61, and I got 44,95. The same scenario here. For me to calculate alpha, I will have to obviously use my cos because I'm given the adjacent, and it will be 6 over 7,8. Find the inverse cos of that, it will be 39,7. Now please do this exercise. It's exercise 8. It's on page 23.